right, Justin, how tired are you?
Dead. I was dead to start off the game. I actually feel like the boys kind of found their legs, started the overtime and carried on to the second, so I feel like it kind of helped us.
How was the big goal, overtime winner? Take me through what you saw.
Honestly, Party was wheeling down the wing. He threw it off the wall, and I was just hoping maybe get a lucky bounce. Drove the net to clear the lane for me, and an easy tap in pretty much, and that was the game right there.
And that was the voice of Dustin Hutton. I interviewed him after he had the game-winning goal. It had been a grueling schedule for the Pickering Panthers, double overtime, and there was no one more deserving than Dustin Hutton to score that goal. So I finished off last episode talking about what could be a storybook ending for the Pickering Panthers. They win the game, they have a comeback in the series, and they have a 3-2 series lead. They have a chance to win the Buckland Cup, and they're at the Pickering Recreation Complex. But come on, what storybook ending actually ends that way? It was too perfect. It was too perfect. And if I'm being honest with you, I thought they were going to win the Buckland Cup at home. I really thought that the final moments of the game were going to see the Panthers running out on the ice, throwing their helmets and equipment all over the place because they'd won the Buckland Cup. They had a 2-goal lead going into the third period. Jordan Carafile scored, Eric Vitale scored, and sent the game to overtime. And where have we seen this before? Nobody scored in the first overtime. A couple crossbars hit by JRC. And then 5 minutes into the second overtime, Liam Fedak scored. It was his 7th. He'd had a great Buckland Cup Finals, and the Junior Canadians won it. The storybook ending was not in the cards for the Pickering Panthers on home ice. So it set up a Game 7 in Toronto. Win or go home for both teams.
The moments that you don't get to go back and live are the moments that you spend with your team, you know, the nights playing cards or going to the bar after a game or, you know, after a game in the locker room. It's like those are the moments that really mean the most in junior hockey, is experiences and the relationships you build with the people you're playing with, right? So that's kind of when I think of what hockey has given me as a person. Those are kind of the two things, you know, that I think of the most.
The one thing that I would take away from it is the bonds you make with your teammates and your friends and your coaches along the way. Like those last a lifetime. Like those stick with you. And the one kind of thing about junior A hockey is the reason people are playing junior A hockey is because they're trying to get to that next level of hockey. So you're playing with guys, practicing with guys day in, day out, who everyone's got the same dreams and aspirations, and everyone wants to get to that next level. So that's a pretty cool thing about junior A hockey that a lot of people don't talk about.
Made me grow into the man that I am today. I mean, the ride, the ups, the downs, like it teaches you about life. I mean, I have a job now, I work, but just the principles that I learned throughout growing up and playing minor hockey and then going into being an adult and playing junior hockey, just the life skills, the ability to bounce back when times are tough, just all sorts of things, right? Like leaning on your teammates and trusting each other and overcoming things, right? It teaches you how to be a part of a team.
Tonight it is Game 7. Everything on the line tonight. Game number 7 of the 2022 Nutrifarms OJHL Championship Series between the Pickering Panthers and your Toronto Junior Canadians, who stuck out a win on Friday night to give it back to this moment.
But for me personally, I was just solely focused on winning that championship. Like I would go home and I would be narrowed in on, I couldn't think of anything else basically, right? So that was kind of my mindset towards it. Obviously Game 6 was Game 6 and you know, played a good game, but at the end of the day, the puck bounced the way it bounced. And then again, overcoming adversity, just move on. It happened, bad face-off, whatever. And yeah, that was basically it, you know.
And then Game 7, if 2 double overtime in a row was not the craziest thing that ever happened in junior hockey, Game 7 might have been. I don't know where to start with this game. Maybe just a thought generally on this game. You know, you guys had to go on the road. You didn't win with your chance to win at home, and you're going on the road. Like, you know, were you guys still confident that you could get this done?
Yeah, absolutely.
Played around to Altomare at the point. Altomare's drive stopped by Warren. Rebound Perry. Stopped by Warren. He kept it out. What a save. What a chance for Miles Perry. Steps up with a hit on Cavallin. Reel brings it in. Reel with a chance. Stopped by Roy. And he hangs on. The mask comes loose. And now Bigras getting into it there in front of the net. From behind the net and up ahead, Eftimovsky with a saucer feed. Wild coming in, Fukakusa, he scores! Engine, number 9, all aboard the Fukakusa line! Wild slides it across, and it's Fukakusa giving the Canadians the early lead. 11:52 to go here in the first, and the JRC are up 1-0 in Game 7 and get those high quality shots so far, but they're determined. Tomlinson, Pilasov in, that shot does get through so far with a big shot on the way in. Martin seals the deal off of the tip, and the Panthers have tied up Game 7. 3:19 to go here in the first.
And that's where we stood after one period of play. 1-1 between Pickering and Toronto. And there was so much talk in this series about Lucas Rowe and him being benched earlier on in the series, and Ethan Doyle being the late add to the roster and being an overager in the finals. But the funny thing was, Rowe and Doyle played on a line together in this final series, and they were great together. They found a lot of chemistry, and that chemistry showed early in the second period.
The Panthers still chip it forward as Doyle had it knocked down. Martin with a chance, stop, rebound, scores. Ethan Doyle off of the rebound, puts it home, and the Pickering Panthers are going to take a 2-1 lead in Game 7.
And all of a sudden, the Panthers had a lead in Game 7 of the Buckland Cup Finals. But then, later on in the second period, JRC took a penalty, Pickering was on the power play, and Cooper Bertrand came down and scored a shorthanded goal. And that took a bit of a bite out of the Panthers' confidence. And it was a big boost for Cooper Bertrand. Because what did he do to start the third period? Scored again, his 6th of the playoffs. And now it was JRC leading 3-2. And then all hell broke loose.
Partridge with it towards the net. Back check skate off the pad of Warren. Still loose at the side. It's Tomlinson on it. Out at the line. Shot stopped by Warren. Rebound. They score. It's Elijah Pilasov. And the Pickering Panthers have tied it up. What a Game 7. Pilasov after the initial shot was stopped by Warren. The play stayed alive. And it's Elijah Pilasov putting it home, his 3rd goal of the playoffs. And the officials are talking at center. Wait a minute. They're booing now. Junior Canadians fans are none too happy. Everyone is going crazy. It's Game 7 from the pond with 15:01 to go here in the third. Pilasov has tied it up. Canadians thought the play was offside as they came in over the line. I'm just reporting the news. 15:01 left to go here.
And just for the record, I went back and watched this puck come across the line frame by frame. It was very close, but it was not offside. But that didn't matter because this is what kind of started to turn this game on its head. Fans were rowdy. They were Pickering and JRC fans going back and forth, and the JRC fans were angry in the stands. Like, you can see many people just going at the official. But this was not the end of the controversial calls.
Yeah, I'd say we probably were disappointed after Game 6. We're like, now we got to go back. Got to go back there again for Game 7. And then at that point, Game 7, anything can happen. As we know, anything can happen in Game 7. And then just about everything that could have happened in Game 7 actually did happen in Game 7. So
And now Fukakusa on it. Eftimovsky with it. Played over to Bertrand. Across Fukakusa. Towards the net. Stopped by Roy. Second chance. Doyle with the block. Played by Fukakusa. He scores! He scores! He scores! Engine! Engine! Number 9! All aboard the Fukakusa line! The Toronto Junior Canadians have taken the lead with 10:47 left to go in the third. 1:08 remaining on the power play. And the JRC have a 4-3 lead in Game 7 of the Buckland Cup Final. Can you feel it in the air tonight?
When it went in, we were kind of on the bench. You can see the energy gone.
was probably getting ready to go out next. And I think I sat down. I was like, oh, no way. Like, there's no way this is how it goes. There's no way this is how it ends. It's on a power play goal. And then I looked over and Rob was like screaming, like, protect the kids. He had no helmet. You got to protect the kids.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone probably looked at each other and were like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on, right?
The officials are huddling at the timekeeper's box. Roy pleading his case.
There was an air of nervousness and uncertainty because there was 10 minutes to go in the third period, and everyone kind of knew that whichever way this call went, it felt like it was going to determine the Buckland Cup and who was getting on a plane in 2 days' time and going to Estevan, Saskatchewan. But I'm not really sure how you could overturn a call like this. I mean, there was no video review yet in the OJHL. So here's what I saw. Fukakusa shot the puck into a wide open cage because Zach Roy had sprawled. In fact, he was on his backside with his pads in the air, and you can't really see whether his helmet was on or not. But I think when he flipped upside down, the helmet scooted out towards kind of into the slot area. And there was no question that moments after, when Brendan Tomlinson, the defender, moved out of the camera shot, the helmet was long gone. He had a completely exposed head. But there's no real video that says whether the puck had gone by him or not. But Zach Roy knew it right away. He looked over at the official and was pleading his case, and then Rob Pearson was all over the officials as well.
I knew that Roy's helmet came off, but I didn't know how it came off. I just, like, at that point, there's no way. Like, there's no way that this is going to get called off. I wasn't even thinking about it, I guess. And then they started talking, and you're like, okay, well, maybe this gets called off.
We saw his helmet come off, so a bunch of guys on our bench jumped up and started yelling at the refs about it. Yeah. Rob talked to the refs about it, started yelling. There was kind of this feeling of, like, if they're gonna call it off, that's like, now's our chance to win it. Like, if they call the goal off, it's, you know, we got to win it now, essentially. But if they did call it, the energy would have been destroyed. And at the time, if it was a goal, I think on the way it would have felt like JRC won the game there. Yeah. But once the goal got called off, there was life again.
I mean, Roy's helmet was off, so it's no goal. Yeah, I mean, the reaction from the bench, I didn't even know they could do that, in my opinion. I've never seen that happen ever with no video review. But But Roy's helmet, like, I seen it. You obviously saw Roy's reaction. Roy's a very passionate guy. He came running. He's like, my damn helmet was off. So it was off. Like, and obviously the rules state if the goalie's helmet is off, can't shoot the puck, right? The play's dead. So yeah, our bench was up, and to be honest, we were up, but we were still focused. We're like, you know what, it happened, whatever, get back to what we need to do. Small plays, simple plays, do the little things, and try and finish the job here. We got another chance. We got another chance at life. Let's go to work.
And then it does get called off, and then they get called a penalty. They call a penalty on JRC.
So the official call, no goal. And I understand why they called it no goal. I think it goes along the lines of what Rob Pearson was yelling to the official. You gotta protect the kids. And if the officials could do it over again, maybe they would have whistled the play down if they had seen that Zach Roy's helmet was off. Now, the part that I don't really understand is why Matthew Wild, who was number 20 on the Junior Canadians, got a goaltender interference penalty on the play. He wasn't even close to the goalie Zach Roy. Catalano was kind of in front of the net, but I didn't really see him dislodge the helmet as well. So that's the part that was a big break for the Pickering Panthers, because there still would have been over a minute of power play time for JRC at a critical point in the hockey game, and instead it went to 4-on-4. Did you watch it back after anywhere on social media? And if you did, what did you think?
Yeah, it was for sure a penalty, no goal. No goal. And a penalty on the right guy.
Yeah. Zach Roy would have agreed with you for sure.
Yep.
Well, Fukakusa's goal has been taken off the board. They have determined it to be no goal.
Like, because you're like, okay, it's going overtime.
Yeah.
It's going overtime, and you're like, holy shit, I have to prepare myself to play in overtime of Game 7. Right? Like you're sitting on the bench, you're like, oh my God, like, it's like, I'm going to be out there overtime Game 7. Like, take a couple of deep breaths.
And so the game remained tied 3-3. And with a minute left in the third period, it looked like this game was going to go to overtime again for the third game in a row. The last thing the Pickering Panthers wanted in this series. So with a minute left in the third period, the Pickering Panthers started to make a bit of a push, and young Ryan Johnstone, one of the affiliate players on the Pickering Panthers, was out there on the ice. He had just joined the team for the Panthers playoff run.
Carafile ahead, stopped up by Lindsay, played by Perry, trying to cut in over the line. It's Barkley on the puck, he'll lift it up, avoids the scoreboard as it's knocked down by Tomlinson. Lead feed, Perry will tip it in deep.
Yeah, well, it starts off by, we got the puck in deep on a forecheck, and I picked up the puck behind the net, and I tried to feed it out into the middle of the slot to Perry, and it ended up scooting by him all the way to Tomer at the point. And I kind of rolled out in front of the net, and I was kind of just off the left hash, and I realized when I was there that I had no one on me. I didn't have a single defender near me. So I started screaming for it, tapping my stick, calling for it. The minute I got the puck, all I saw was a huge opening in his 5-hole.
Perry will tip it in deep. Barkley around. Barkley cut off. Trying to pry it loose as Lindsay out in front.
Like, just get it on and off your stick. 5-hole. It's wide open. If he makes a save, there's a rebound there. But based on what I saw, I saw him at the point. I was wide open, calling for it, no one on me. Just the minute I touched that puck, I looked, and I'm like, you got to go 5-hole right now, or else, you might not get a chance to score a goal like this ever again.
Trying to find Perry. Tomlinson with a drive to the net. They score. The Pickering Panthers have scored with 37.7 seconds left to go in regulation. What an unbelievable ending to this. Ryan Johnstone crafts it home between the legs of Warren, and the Panthers are 37.7 seconds away from winning the Buckland Cup.
Beat him to his butterfly, get it through his legs. Who knows what could happen? It could hit the back of the net. It could trickle through him for a rebound, but I was, I would safe to say I was locked in that moment.
Yeah. And then you were celebrating like no one's ever celebrated in their junior hockey career. You fly by the bench. I mean, I don't even know if you had control over your arms and limbs at this point because you're probably so excited. Just do you even remember anything from that moment skating by the bench after you scored?
I just remember like it literally felt like I blacked out. Like I remember scoring, all of a sudden I'm in the corner and we're celebrating and jumping around. And the minute we're out of that little huddle in the corner after scoring, my body just felt like ripping by the bench. Like I had so much energy. Like it was such a special moment. Like you can't control your emotions like that.
Yeah, there was 37 seconds to go.
37.7 seconds.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And okay, so did you look at the clock after you scored that goal? Was that the first thing you looked at?
Yeah, I looked at the clock to see how much time was left. That was one of the first things, and obviously that 37.7, when I saw it, I was like, holy cow, like we have just under 40 seconds to win a championship here.
Right. So were you thinking, oh my God, I just won the game, or oh my God, I hope they don't score?
I think it was a bit of both. Honestly, when I got off the ice after scoring, I was sitting on the bench facing away from the play, just because I was like, for the first 15 seconds of it, I was facing away from the ice, on the bench, sitting, drinking water, going, collect your thoughts. Holy cow! Like the game's not over.
And of course, Johnny right on top of the crease, right where, where the magic happens. And it wasn't the greatest goal ever, but he did what he needed to do, and that just showed, could be anybody. That's the way the game hockey works, right? Like, especially deep into games, anybody could be the hero, and that was Johnny. He came up big for us. I remember jumping on him in the pile. I blacked out once I went through it. I just remember jumping and celebrating. But then looked up at the clock, and I think it was like 30 something seconds left or something like that. What was it?
37.7.
37 point. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, this game's still not done, because anything can happen, and we got to kill that 37 seconds.
I think Rob was probably trying to calm us down at the time too. It's like, hey guys, relax. Like this game's not over yet. Yeah, and then I like at that point, like it was Alto and Tommy were going out. Like it was like I was sitting there and watching and praying kind of deal. Like obviously I had the utmost faith that those two guys were gonna lock it down, but like at that point you're sitting on the bench kind of helpless. Like there's nothing you can do about it.
And they played that final 37.7 seconds to perfection. They iced the puck once, but they kept it to the outside. They pinned the puck along the boards. And 37.7 seconds later, the Pickering Panthers were Buckland Cup champions in 2022. So when you guys won the game, I pulled you out of the scrum and we did an interview. And in that interview, I think you probably swore for the first time in front of a camera before.
I sure did.
Yeah.
Like at every practice, every game, just here for the journey, and it's fucking fantastic. Sorry for the language.
Tell me about that goal. Where is that rank in the top goals of your career?
It's the most. It's probably it's number one. No explanation needed. It's number one.
But the one thing that you said in that interview was, hands down, that's the biggest goal I've ever scored in my life. Now
Still is.
Yeah, okay. So now that you've gone and played in the AJ and the BCHL, still the biggest goal.
It is by far the biggest goal of my hockey career. I don't think, anything I've done since has equated to the just kind of the outcome of that goal. Like, that's a game-winning championship goal. I mean, obviously scoring your first goal in the AJ and first goal in the BC is pretty exciting, but it's not like winning a championship for your hometown junior A team. Like that was a special moment, and it's still the most special moment in my hockey career.
So when the final buzzer sounded, I went down to the ice and interviewed a couple of the players, and it was mayhem. So here's some of the sound from the ice moments after the Panthers won the championship. Let's start with Ryan Johnstone.
First practice, they brought me in like I was one of their brothers. We worked hard day in, day out, like at every practice, every game. Kind of worked hard down low, got that puck up to the point to Tommy. I was smacking my stick, calling for it. He fed me. I buried a 5-hole. I mean, probably the biggest goal of my career. Doing it for these boys out here in the overagers. Got to take it to Saskatchewan now. It's amazing.
And here's the Panthers' overage goaltender, Zach Roy.
Our team battled all playoffs, all game, and they took the lead early. We never quit. We kept going, and we scored with 30 seconds left. I don't think I ever jumped so high in my life. That's just not nice.
And Zach Roy took a face full of water there from one of his teammates. It might have been Lucas Lapalme who dumped that water on him. And him and Dustin Hutton were standing arm in arm as they did their interview.
Best moment ever. 20 years old, and this is all I've ever wanted, right? To win a junior championship, so I'm glad we got it done.
He's our coach here. This guy is incredible. He came down. Funny enough, I got traded for him, but I came back.
Yeah,
but,
that's true.
Yeah, but,
we were traded for each other, and we're back together. It was meant to be.
And so I sit here today. I've got a blue sweater on with a big Pickering Panther logo across the chest. It says 2022 Buckland Cup Champions, Pickering Panthers. I also have in my hand a Buckland Cup Championship ring. On the inside, it says Voice of the Panthers, and it's got my name, West, on the left side of the ring, and the big Panther logo with OJHL champions on the front. And I've never been more proud of the effort a team put together. But they weren't done. They still had a flight and a national championship to compete for. And I'll be honest, there's one bit of writing on the ring that I didn't tell you about. And it says something about a national championship. So that means there's more story to tell. So let's continue the story as we go beyond the buck.